Okay, welcome back, everybody. Let's keep going with Android. So this third assignment you're going to do in Android Studio is going to add some increased functionality to your app. You're going to need to code a little more in this. Don't worry. We don't really get into Java too much in this course, but that is the code that you'll be coding in, and I will give you examples on screen that you can copy, but you need to make sure that you're copying them into the correct script. So an important thing for you to do is really follow the file paths that I tell you and make sure that you're inserting the code at the proper place. And as always, when you're coding, you need to make sure that you are exactly copying the code in, or it just will not work. So that's what you're going to be doing this time in Android Studio. So let's go ahead and step over to the computer and get to work.
After completing the previous lesson, you have an app that shows an activity, a single screen, with a text field and a button. In this lesson, you'll add some code to main activity that starts a new activity to display the message when the user taps Send. Respond to the Send button. Add a method to the main activity class that's called by the button as follows. Look inside the file app, inside that to Java, inside that to com.example.myfirstapp, and finally inside that to main activity. Add the Send Message method stub as demonstrated. You may see an error because Android Studio cannot resolve the View class used as the method argument. So click to place your cursor on the View declaration and then perform a quick fix by pressing Alt and Enter on a PC or Option and Enter on a Mac. If a menu appears, select Import Class. Now return to the activity_main.xml file to call this method from the button. Click to select the button in the Layout Editor. In the Attributes window, locate the OnClick property and select Send Message, Main Activity, from the drop-down list. Now, when the button is tapped, the system calls the Send Message method. Take note of the details in this method that are required in order for the system to recognize it as compatible with the Android OnClick attribute. Specifically, the method has the following characteristics: public access, a void, a view as the only parameter. It is the view object that was clicked. Next, you'll fill in this method to read the contents of the text field and deliver that text to another activity. Build an intent. An intent is an object that provides runtime binding between separate components, such as two activities. The intent represents an app's intent to do something. You can use intents for a wide variety of tasks, but in this lesson, your intent starts another activity. In main activity, add the extra_message constant and the send message code as demonstrated. Android Studio again encounters cannot resolve symbol errors, so press Alt-Enter on a PC or Option and Return on a Mac. Your imports should end up as shown. Here's what's going on in the send message. The intent constructor takes two parameters, a context as its first parameter, this is used because the activity class is a subclass of context, and the class of the app component to which the system should deliver the intent. In this case, the activity that should be started. The putExtra method adds the edit text value to the intent. An intent can carry data types as key value pairs called extras. Your key is a public constant, extra message, because the next activity uses the key to retrieve the text value. It's a good practice to define keys for intent extras using your app's package name as a prefix. This ensures the keys are unique in case your app interacts with other apps. The startActivity method starts an instance of the display message activity specified by the intent. Now you need to create that class. Create the second activity. In the project window, right-click the app folder and select New, then Activity, then Empty Activity. In the Configure Activity window, enter Display Message Activity for activity name and click Finish. Leave all other properties set to the defaults. Android Studio automatically does three things. It creates the display message activity file, creates the corresponding activity_display_message.xml layout file, and adds the required activity element in androidmanifest.xml. If you run the app and tap the button on the first activity, the second activity starts but is empty. This is because the second activity uses the empty layout provided by the template. Add a text view. The new activity includes a blank layout file, so now you'll add a text view where the message will appear. Open the file app, then res, then layout, then activity_display_message.xml. Click Turn on AutoConnect in the toolbar. In the palette window, click Text, and then drag a text view into the layout. Drop it near the top of the layout, near the center, so it snaps to the vertical line that appears. AutoConnect adds left and right constraints to place the view in the horizontal center. Now create one more constraint from the top of the text view to the top of the layout, so it appears as shown. Optionally, you can make some adjustments to the text style by expanding text appearance in the Attributes window and change attributes such as text size and text color. Display the message. Now you will modify the second activity to display the message that was passed by the first activity. In Display Message Activity, add the demonstrated code to the onCreate method. Press Alt and Enter on a PC or Option and Return on a Mac to import missing classes. Your imports should end up as shown. Add up navigation. Each screen in your app that is not the main entry point, all screens that are not the home screen, should provide navigation so the user can return to the logical parent screen in the app hierarchy by tapping the Up button in the app bar. All you need to do is declare which activity is the logical parent in the androidmanifest.xml file. So open the file at app, then manifests, then androidmanifest.xml. Locate the activity tag for display message activity and replace it with the demonstrated code. The Android system now automatically adds the Up button in the app bar. Now save your work and run the app in the emulator or on an Android device.
Okay, so great job, everybody. You now have created your first Android app. You have added a user interface and you've given it some basic functionality. So you get what the experience is like creating an Android app using the integrated development environment Android Studio. Of course, the complexity of creating an app the sky is the limit for the level of complexity you can have. But you now know the basics and understand how you would get started in creating an Android app and what that process is like. So great job, everybody. I look forward to seeing your apps.